All right, welcome back. Nigeria is sitting on a demographic gold mine, one of the largest youth population in the world. But the same youth bulge can become a ticking time bomb if we fail to equip time for digital future. The questions are very urgent. Are we preparing, or are we sleepwalking into a global economy that will leave us behind? My guest today has been wrestling with these questions for a while. Agile Excel, visionary strategist, digital entrepreneur, and ecosystem builder. He's the founder of SM Fest, that's a social media fest, one of Africa's fastest growing conferences of technology, creativity, and business. And as CEO of Silicon Africa Technologies, he has helped businesses harness digital strategy and branding platforms to drive real growth. Mr. Ajayi, welcome to the beam.
Thank you so much.
Yes, I mean, there's so much there when it comes to the digital future, social media. You know, we're talking about the future economy, the economy that's already now.
Yeah.
But we need to get into it. You know, we have one of the largest population. The question is, what are we getting right, and what are we failing at when it comes to turning that demographic into an advantage for digital competitiveness?
I will begin by saying that the population of Nigeria, which is the youthful population, is not a burden. It's actually a gift. It's actually a very high potential export commodity, you know, if well channeled. You know, as a matter of fact, the talents in Nigeria is so it's above average when you compare them to other people in the world, right? That's why Nigerians go out and they do amazing stuff. So such a population, if well channeled, if well upskilled, it's an export for Nigeria. I'll give you a cue, right? A country that looks like that was India, right? With so large population. And what happened was that the country decided to upskill their youth, and India became the export capital, talent capital of the world, right? All around the world, if you're looking for talents to do anything in tech, India becomes your first go-to point. And this is what Nigeria can do if we're able to upskill our youth population, you know. Yes.
Yeah, but you see, it's becoming much of the buzzwords, you know. We need, what are the practical steps that needs to be taken so that we can plug into that digital economy? Where are the biggest blind spots? Like I asked earlier on, you know, what are we getting right now? And what do we need to get right so that we are really keyed into and plugged into this digital economy?
I would say that for what we're getting right, I see what the Minister of Digital Economy is doing with the GMTT and a number of other skill-up programs. That is a step in the right direction. But that needs to be scaled up, because a large population of young people in Nigeria needs to partake in such programs, you know. And again, I would say that on the other side of it, where I would say we're not getting it so well, is the mindset that Nigerians and Africans have towards technology. You know, where we are waiting for the big technology to come from the West before we can begin to consume, especially that mindset of consuming technology and not being part of the creation process has been an issue. So while we tackle the mindset, we upskill our population, a lot of changes will happen.
Yeah, I want you to really go into that part where you talk about the mindset, because I mean, from your experience when you're handling the SM Fest, that social media fest, what are the systemic gaps that you see, you know, in that way, and how do we change this mindset that you're talking about? What really needs to change? How do we go about it? What are the possibilities there?
All right, so I would say that the mindset I just talked about is that consumption mindset, where someone is waiting for the next AI tool to jump on, to subscribe to it. You're waiting for the next social media platform to jump on it, without thinking of how can I be the creator of the platform that the rest of the world can come upon, right? Such mindset has to be changed, and it wouldn't change just by scaling up the population. One of the things I see that we don't have, let's go practical, right? It's incubation hubs. You know, there is a difference between going for a training program and going back home. Countries that have progressed have developed incubation hubs, where you wake up in the morning with people who are doing the same thing you're doing.
But the government can actually say that they're actually starting incubation hubs, you know, somewhere in Lagos and a couple of places.
It's just a fraction of, you know, Lagos is just a location. This should be spread across the country, right? There is someone in Enugu who needs incubation hub to be able to interact with people in the same space, right? Where in Plateau, in Jos, that kind of stuff. So Lagos is already doing so well. Imagine we'll have 10 Lagos in Nigeria. Think about that. Imagine we'll have 10 locations that have the energy that Lagos has in Nigeria. That is a lot, right? So if we have incubation hubs, what I mean by incubation hubs is where people come, you are staying here for like the next 6 months. By the time you're coming out, you've mastered the skill set you've come to learn. And the fact is that because you are a designer, a product designer, someone is a developer, another person is a UX writer. By the time you wake up, you want to do a task, you have the next guy who is also going to be supporting what it is you're doing. By the time you guys are done, a product will emerge from that space. If not as co-founders, but you would have had practical experience from what you've come to learn, right? Because someone has a product that they are developing while you are the designer. This guy is the US writer. By the time you're done, you're coming out of that training depot as a refined, a solution-driven individual.
All right, we were talking about this a bit off camera, and it's one thing, especially when it comes to social media, which one of the very big spaces where you play in, right? Yeah. One of those things we've not seen is how young people are. There are people who are cashing out, but we're not seeing it in the scale in which people in America and some other places in Europe can say, hey, we're making so much money, right? The question then becomes, what needs to change? I mean, you practically gave me an answer, but I really want to hear that part of it again, because I want to know what really needs to change so that if I'm a creator right here in Nigeria, I should be able to earn something very close to what's there over there. I mean, we were talking about how Trump says, hey, you Facebook, what are you giving us this year? You, what are you bringing to the table? How do we get to that space?
I would say while a creator who is over there will earn so high, there is a more technical part of it. Earning in social media platform is a function of advertising, right? So if you have brands who are willing to advertise, who are willing to pay to advertise, and they show up on your content, then you get some payment, right? But maybe in Africa, in Nigeria, people are not yet paying for adverts to promote their brands, right? That much. A few persons are doing that. But over there, people are competing, and the more there is competition for the space, they had the amount that is paid for that space. That is why some Nigerians who are creators target those who are outside, because that's what they call RPM. RPM is like where you have want to get paid per 1,000 impression. Are you getting this now? So some of Nigerian creators, there are a lot of brands are beginning to embrace social media ads to promote their products and services. That is actually what Facebook is sharing with the creators. When these product owners advertise, Facebook collects a fraction of the money and pays the creators a fraction for being on the platform to create the content. So you wouldn't blame the creators who are in locations where they get more payment for the same impression that Nigerians are getting. That's why a Nigerian creator can actually get 10 million views on their content on YouTube and make maybe $1,500. But someone who is targeting the US audience gets the same 10 million views and makes about $15,000. So what's the difference? The fact that companies over there are willing to pay to promote their products and services.
Does this have anything to do with the enabling environments, the infrastructure, or the policy that we have in Nigeria? Does it have anything to do in that sphere?
Not really, because this is like an open platform, right? So it's not a function of the policies within, because a Nigerian who has a US audience on their content will make the same amount of money.
So, but are you saying then that as a content creator, I should target the US and limit my audience, I mean, my contents, beyond what Nigeria can really, take in and what Nigerians can really devour, right? Should I start looking at how to make sure that people in the US put their eyeballs on my content? Is that what you're saying?
I wouldn't say that that's what you're going to be doing, but if you have what it takes to get attention in diaspora, very good.
Okay, so I mean, some argue that Nigerian creatives lack that discipline, and the structure. How do we shift from that raw talent to sustained impacts in the digital economy?
I would say that most creators, just a few of them, have left the survival zone. Where you're doing this stuff, make I just hammer more. Just a few creators have come to the point where they are now creating content for the long haul. A few others are doing it for the short term. So that is where I would say, if you want to begin to create content that will last and give that kind of impact you want, you have to think the long term perspective of it.
All right. You're watching The Beam, a place where the old is reckoned with, the future is interrogated, and power is held to purpose. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Just a short break.